Hey everybody, welcome back to the Keep 7 Gaming YouTube channel, and today we are playing a deck I am calling Elder Rhythm. Elder Gargaroth is a card that I was very excited about, and it looks awesome, but it's just not that good because it doesn't do anything. You need, in the current meta, in the current standard that we have, even with the current bans that were just uh, released or posted on Monday, you need your 5 drops to have immediate impact. And Elder Gargaroth obviously does not have immediate impact. It is a 6/6 for 5 mana with a whole host of abilities and triggers that happens when it attacks or blocks. But obviously, none of those triggers occur when it enters the battlefield, and that's just something you need with 5. You need every one of your creatures to have an enter the battlefield effect. You need value immediately. Otherwise, cards are just kind of useless. So Elder Gargaroth is an awesome card, but it's an awesome card for older Magic. And I think with current Magic, a 6/6 for 5 that has all these abilities but doesn't do anything when it enters, just gets bounced by Brazen Borrower, gets Elspeth Conquers Death, it's just a whole host of things. It's just not good enough anymore. So how do we get a 6/6 for 5 to have immediate impact? And my first thought was Rhythm of the Wild. Rhythm of the Wild would allow that card to have haste. So regardless of what happens on the following turn, if it gets bounced, if it gets Elspeth Conquers Death, if it gets wrathed by, a Shadow the Sky or anything of that nature, at the very least you had a 6/6 that attacked and you were able to gain 3 life, draw a card, or create a beast creature token. So really that's kind of the dynamic duo here. We have Elder Gargaroth and Rhythm of the Wild. That's really what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Elder Gargaroth being able to have an immediate impact on the game. And then Rhythm of the Wild is obviously Gruul colors. Elder Gargaroth is within those Gruul colors, so I figured Gruul would be a good kind of place to experiment. So if you throw Terror of the Peaks in there, Terror of the Peaks is just a cool M21 card. Another card that when it enters the battlefield doesn't have much of an effect, but with Rhythm of the Wild, it will have an immediate effect. It will have haste, and it will allow anything you bring into the battlefield. Not only will have, anything you bring into the battlefield after Terror of the Peaks, you will deal damage equal to its power to any target, and then you will be able to obviously attack with those creatures. So if you have Terror of the Peaks on the field, you play Elder Gargaroth afterwards, you deal 6 damage, and then you swing in for, what is that, 11? And then with Elder Gargaroth, you also have all the payoffs there. And then below that, we just have a smattering of basically ramp cards with Gilded Goose and Paradise Druid. We have Heroic Intervention to protect our creatures if need be. If Board Wrath comes, you have an instant that can do that. Although typically we're tapping out for mana, so I might even cut Heroic Intervention and replace it with something else. We have 4 Bone Crusher Giants, just easy 2 mana removal. 2 mana up to 2 toughness removal, and then we have a 4/3 body that we can play thereafter. 3 Scavenging Ooze because it's just a great card. We have Gem Razor to remove any artifacts or enchantments. It's also just a great 4/4 body that has Reach and Trample. You can also mutate it onto things, but obviously you can mutate it onto things to remove an artifact or enchantment, but you can just mutate it onto something if you need to. And then we have 3 Questing Beasts because it's just, look at that card. Who even reads all that text? It just does so much. And then as far as lands, we have 24 lands made up of 6 mountains, 7 forests, 1 Castle Garenbrig, 1 Castle Embereth, 4 Stomping Grounds, 3 Temple of Abundance. I would probably do 4 and then cut another mountain. And then 2 Fabled Passage. And that's about it. It's a pretty basic deck. I know I'm playing a lot of aggro decks lately, but I feel like I'm just too embarrassed to play Control, which is my preferred archetype, because any Control mages that see me play Control will judge me, and then I'll feel really vulnerable and scared and embarrassed. So I'm just going to play something I'm not good at, which is aggro, and I'm going to brew stuff that I'm not good at, which is aggro. So, yeah. And this is kind of not that aggressive of a deck. You don't get started, you don't really get anything started until you play Rhythm of the Wild on turn 3, and then after turn 3. So, I guess this is kind of mid-range, but it's kind of not. Because once you get started, it's just, if you get a Terror of the Peaks and an Elder Gargaroth, and you just start throwing these, haymakers at your opponent, that's pretty aggressive, but, to get there is the problem, and you're ramping into it, hopefully with Paradise Druid and maybe Gilded Goose, and you got Radha here too. Radha is one card that I forgot about in my explanation. She's just a great Gruul card. 3/3 with First Strike is great. Shuts down things like Annex and stuff like that, so... and then her tap 6 ability, the +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control, is just great. So It's just a solid card to have. 3 might be a little too much, so I might cut it down to less. But, you know, we're just playing with this as it is. We'll do a few games in the play queue, see how it goes, and then we'll do a few games in ranked, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into some matches. Our first opponent for the day is Arkanji. I don't know. Something you'll notice about this deck is it has very little interaction. I mean, we have the Bone Crusher Giants for some small removal, but this is a very much kind of swing and see deck. Oh man, this is brutal. We'll keep this. I guess we drop the tap land. Or I guess we have 2 tap lands here, huh? Ooh, what do we get rid of? I guess one of our Gargaroths is probably the best bet, right? And do we start with a tap land or do we just start with the goose? Our opponent's starting with a tap land, so we'll start with a tap land. Another Gargaroth? I don't think we need that much. We have Questing Beast and Gargaroth in our hand. We need some other stuff. We need a Rhythm of the Wild. Yeah. Or land, to be honest. Fuck. That's brutal. So we'll start with a Gilded Goose. They're showing us Rogrin color, or Jeskai colors, I should say. The Rogrin is the Triumph. They're showing us Jeskai colors, so, what's that card? My goodness. The 3 mana, deal 3 damage to Deafening Clarion. Deafening Clarion is a concern, but Deafening Clarion also doesn't hit our top end. But Deafening Clarion hits our ramp, which I'm not thrilled about. If they cut off our ramp, then we're kind of... We need to draw 1... I could assert dominance and attack with a goose. I'm not gonna. If they Deafening Clarion my ramp board, I'm okay with that. But I also need to draw into lands to be able to start playing these threats, which they can't Clarion, but if they get 1 more white out there, then I know Shatter the Sky is... The fact that they haven't played anything makes me think they're control. And this deck versus control, I don't see going very well. Okay, so there's... Yeah, alright. This is going to be a tough matchup. This is interesting. So they're tapped out. We can do 4 damage off the rip with Questing Beast. We do 4 damage to them, it does 4 damage to their Narset. Is that worth it? I think so. Because I have other threats. Actually, I can just straight up kill their Narset. I think that's what I'm going to do. This forces them to Wrath the board with the Questing Beast, but even if they have Deafening Clarion... I mean, if they have Shatter the Sky, they have Shatter the Sky. I get to draw a card. Hopefully I draw into a land. If they don't Shatter the Sky, if they Deafening Clarion, my Questing Beast is still on the board, and they'll have to find something else. So we'll see what their choice is. Their choice is nothing. So now I think... Do I play into a Shatter the Sky? Do I deploy more threats? I don't... Nah, I don't think so. I might just double Bone Crusher Giant here and just show them that I have refill. I have rebuild. Just get them down low, put all the pressure on them. Force them to have the answers. If they have a Shatter the Sky, they Shatter the Sky next turn. If they have 2 Shatter the Skies, that's fucked up. Okay, so they Brazen Borrow my Questing Beast. So that's something. And they're returning that. That's fine. So now what I'm thinking is they're prepared to... they're preparing to... whatchamacallit. They're going to counter what I try to deploy next, is probably what I'm thinking. And they want me to redeploy my Questing Beast. I don't think I give them the satisfaction. I'll throw out a Bone Crusher Giant. They can counter that, and then I get a Paradise Druid, I guess. Maybe I should have thrown out the Paradise Druid first, see if they took the bait. I say we just throw out 2 Bone Crusher Giants and see if they... I mean, now they have to deal with this. And I'm fine with losing Bone Crusher Giants. I clearly have better options here. That I can start deploying too, because I'm up to 5 mana. So, if they want to Wrath this board, that's fine with me. I'll just throw down I'll throw down my Questing Beast next turn, and they'll be tapped out if they try to Wrath this board. And if they don't try to Wrath this board, that's 8 mana that they, or I'm sorry, that's 8 damage that they have to deal with. So they're playing out their Brazen Borrower, which makes me think they're not trying to Wrath the board. And if they are, I mean, I'll throw down my Questing Beast. I have these 2 other cards that I'm more than happy to play out. Or do I play out the Terror of the Peaks and just leave the Questing Beast as the looming threat? Ooh, that's a good card. Oh man, if I had the mana to play Questing Beast and Heroic Intervention. So let's see, does he have another bounce effect? If he has another bounce effect, what I might do is just Heroic Intervention now. Maybe not. Maybe now's not the time. We'll see. Gain Hexproof. Yeah. So he wants to bounce some of the stuff back to my hand. I'm making my stuff untargetable. So he can play that Pouncing Shore Shark all he wants, but it's tapped and he can't bounce anything back to my hand. He takes 8 damage. And I'll just play out the Paradise Druid because I can. And then we have Questing Beast on the bounce back. So we'll see. I mean, maybe we don't. Maybe we still hold all this stuff up. Yeah, I'll take 4. The fact that he's attacking makes me think he is about to Wrath the board. But if he does, I mean, I have Questing Beast, so... Shit. Do we just go for it? I think we just go for it. We just swing all in. It's a 4/4 Angel, but that only blocks 1. And that's game. There we go. Picking up a game 1. Alright, our next opponent for the day is Hemlock Wasson. Hemlock Wasson? Wasson? Oh. This is a pretty good hand. Some good early removal. We got some good 2-drops. I think we need land, to be honest. The Terror of the Peaks would be great, but we need land more than we need that, since we don't have any ramp. Our opponent's off to a slow start, which is a good sign for us, because so are we. Which is incredible, because all we've done is play 1 card. We'll play out the Goose. Get some ramp in the game. Who knows? Could be useful down the road. And then we have Bone Crusher Giant or Scavenging Ooze for the next play. Are you really gonna kill my Goose? That would be fucking brutal. Wow. Wow. So I think we eat our own Goose here, so Heartless Act can't even affect the Ooze. Now Scavenging Ooze has a counter on it, and Heartless Act does nothing to Scavenging Ooze. We have Radha next turn, potentially. 3/3 first strike. As long as it's my turn, she has first strike. If it's not my turn, that's actually good to know. Birth of Meletis. Are we playing Control again? Jeezy Pete. We can double Bone Crusher Giant a fucking wall. Worst comes to worst, we actually just hardcast Bone Crusher Giant. Now I'm scared of board wipe, which maybe means we don't put Radha down. Maybe we just put a Bone Crusher Giant down because we can get rid of the wall that... Yeah, I think that's what we do. You can attack through the wall. And again, like this, I don't care about losing a Bone Crusher Giant to a Wrath. If he has another Heartless Act, that's kind of a bummer. But then we just eat it with Scavenging. We eat Bone Crusher Giant with Scavenging Ooze. We take out their wall. Mardu Control? Or what? Mardu Winota? Maybe. Well, the wall can't attack, so it's non-human, but it can't attack, triggering whatchamacallit. Heartless Act looking real awkward here with my Scavenging Ooze. That's great. I guess we play out Paradise Druid and just prepare for the Gargaroth. If he has board wipe, I mean, that's just fucking brutal, but... Gains 2. He can board wipe here. I mean, do we play into it or do we not? Is the question. Destroy all non-giant creatures. Okay, so... That's fine with me. I guess we have 2 Roundhouse, so we can play 1 out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need another land to trigger her ability. But if this is... I've been playing a lot of board wipe tribal decks recently, and it's just a fucking pain in the ass. Like, how is that fun for you? Just hold up mana for fucking board wipe, and then just wait for your opponent to rebuild? Sick strat, bro. Must be fun to play that way. Although, how much fun is just shattering on a Radha? Okay. So I think for a rebuild now, we can go Bone Crusher and Scavenging Ooze. And he can shatter the sky again. Or Heartless Act, I suppose. Maybe we should have just gone... Okay. Who can prepare for this? Stormwipe fucking Tribal. A Rhythm of the Wild would be sick, because none of our threats have immediate impact, and that's what the deck is supposed to do. Man. This is just not fun. Rhythm of the Wild showing up a little too late. So now he can't attack with his Realm Cloak Giant. The fact that he deployed a bunch of threats makes me think he doesn't have board wipe anymore. He could still have a Storm's Wrath. Takes out 2 of our creatures. If that's the case, I mean, that's just something else. Alright. There's not much you can do there when somebody just plays board wipe tribal. If you're watching this and you play that way, boy oh boy. Just play control. He played, what, Realm Cloak Giant, Shatter the Sky, and Storm's Wrath? Like, how do you play around that? Alright, our next opponent is Murfadurf. Hopefully Murfadurf doesn't play fucking board wipe tribal and actually wants to, like, you know, play a game. So we have a lot of ramp here, and then we have some payoffs. Again, no Rhythm of the Wild. It's just refusing to show up. Edgewall Innkeeper's playing some form of adventures, so that's not fun. Especially if it's Temur Adventures, that's not fun. If it's Golgari Adventures, hey! Golgari Adventures still not fun, because Murderous Rider on a Lucky Clover is basically game over for us. Maybe we're leaning too much into the just making Gargaroth useful. See, oh man. If they play one more swamp, they have a Murderous Rider attacking, killing not 1 but 2 of our creatures. That's so awesome. Okay, well. Maybe we don't do this now. Okay, so they have another. There's Elder Gargaroth. We'll give him a target to look at. And if they want to draw cards, they can draw cards, whatever. Flaxen Intruder. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Thank God we don't have one of those. So I think next turn we can Radha and get rid of Flaxen Intruder? Or would we rather get rid of... I mean, we can get rid of Flaxen Intruder and Edgewall Innkeeper. We can Bone Crusher Giant, I think, and then we can play Radha. We get the Bone Crusher Giant 2 damage in, and then we get the Radha 3 damage in. From Terror of the Peaks. And I don't want to play out an Elder Gargaroth, because I think they're going to just basically board wipe me with a Murderous Rider. Which would be so just brutal. Or do we go up top with 3? That's an interesting question. Do we even play this for the damage? I mean, I think we do, because that's more removal. We get to remove something. I could have gotten rid of both of the... I mean, maybe the better play would have been getting rid of both of their Edgewall Innkeepers. I guess we can. So they don't have a board, And if they play a Murderous Rider, they get to pick 2 things to get rid of. Which would probably be Terror of the Peaks and Bone Crusher Giant. But that's their entire turn. And then we get an Elder Gargaroth. Yep. Oh, they go for the Radha. Probably the first strike. And they go for my Paradise Druid. They go down to 6. Wish I was able to get Rhythm of the Wild down first. If they have another Murderous Rider, I mean, that's just fucking nuts. Alright, phew. Man. It is just brutal out there today. This fucking... Mass removal just seems to be, like, what everybody wants to play. And that's just... That's fucking brutal. I get spot removal. But, like, it just seems like people just want to play... Magic where like they're not playing anything and then they just remove everything you do and then they play. It's just like, which I guess is control to a degree, but like that, I don't know, man. Our next opponent is Anon, who has an anonymous avatar. If this game goes the same way that the other couple games have been going with just mass removal and mass board wipe and stuff, I think I'm probably done. With at least in the play queue. We don't have any early plays here, so we'll mulligan this. I guess we'll keep that. So what do we want our payoff to be? Terror of the Peaks or Elder Gargaroth? I guess Terror of the Peaks. Anything we draw into after that, we can deploy for damage. It's just frustrating. Get a tap land out of the way. It's just frustrating, you know. Like if every game you play, you're just trying to play stuff. Oh, Flash. Okay, okay. He's not gonna try. At the very least, he's not going to try to wipe the board, but he's gonna counter everything we play. So we just gotta work through it. Okay. If he has a Heartless Act, that's gonna hurt. Okay. He might be just playing a creature-based Flash. Heartless Act. He should have done... Oh, no, he couldn't have done it in instant speed, could he? Was he tapped out? Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, I just feel like Simic Flash has been kind of a deck I've been playing with and playing against a lot lately. Dimir Flash is a deck I've been playing a lot against lately. Board Wipe Tribal just feels like a deck that I've been playing against a lot lately. Like, I don't know, man. All those decks just... You get First Strike. Oh, man. Well, I have First Strike, so that's something. Ah, balls. Oh, no, I still have First Strike. It dies. Unless he has one more. You're aware that that dies. He could block really poorly here. Okay, he makes the right block. Although he deployed a lot of threats for that. And we could wipe his board with Terror of the Peaks. How much is this? 4, 7, 8. Okay. I mean, I'll block the 1-1. So that's just 7. If his last spell is a counter spell, I'm livid. It's not. Alright, so he's just playing creature-based Dimir Flash. We can deal, I think. pay 2, and I'll put down a Gargaroth. No attacks. If we block with the Gargaroth, we can gain 3 life. And he can't make these things grow, because it has to be on the opponent's turn. Maybe playing the Terror of the Peaks was a better option. Alright, so it's creature-based flash. So this could be interesting. We'll just get a Terror of the Peaks down. Our next card is Elder Gargaroth. If he doesn't have removal for Terror of the Peaks, we're in good shape. If he wants to attack with his 6/5, I think we block with Radha, to be honest. If he's a coward, we get the Elder Gargaroth. For 6 damage. And he only has 1 spell he can play on my turn. So we get to kill his 7/6. That's game. Oh, getting spanked. All said and done, I mean, this deck revolves heavily around getting Rhythm of the Wild down first, so maybe we should get it a game where we actually get it down and play it, because every game we've just been getting spanked because all of our threats don't have any immediate impact. Man, this is frustrating. Alright, so what we might want to do here, get rid of that. Radha's cool. Get rid of that. Just focus on payoffs and giving shit haste. Get rid of that. Let's go escape velocity. We just have a bunch of cheap stuff to give things haste. And just deploy threats. Let's see if that fixes anything. Cut down to 2 Radha. And we just have 1 way to give things haste. Ooh, actually. How much is Cavalier of Flame? 2. That's 5 mana for him. I don't know. I think we stick with this. Clearly this needed work. We'll see if this fixes anything. This could slow us down a lot. I mean, we got rid of some stuff that was just garbage anyway. Okay, we have a lot of ramp. No real payoff. Well, I mean, we have payoffs, but like we have no real way to give them haste yet, which was the changes we made. We're playing Obosh deck. Okay. Been a while since I've seen that. So we can Temple of Abandon and we can Footfall Crater on something. If they remove our Goose with a Scorch or Shock. Okay, so maybe they're playing. Alright. land. Untapped would be great. We'll play Terror of the Peaks. First strike doesn't do anything to that. 4 mana, he brings Obosh in. Obosh is great and all. Alright, so let's see here. Don't need escape velocity. Kill the thing that is kill the thing that's unblockable. No attacks. Does he have the land? He does. Obosh is a 3/5. We can get rid of him. If we can survive this turn, we can get rid of Obosh with Elder Gargaroth if we draw into a land. Double that damage. Double that damage is 4. We take 8. Radha ain't probably doing much for us. Elder Gargaroth gets the Obosh. No attacks. Another Fervent Champ. We gain 3 life with the Elder Gargaroth, and that would be game. Whew. Man, it just feels like going through a gauntlet out there. So after some pretty brutal losses, and after some near wins, this deck isn't good. This deck is pretty bad. It's fun though. Like I love the idea of being able to get an Elder Gargaroth out there with either a +1/+1 counter, or with haste, and a Terror of the Peak, same deal. So like, I mean, I guess the final version with Footfall Crater and Escape Velocity still, it's just not good. You just can't give these things haste. It's just why these cards are so kind of unplayable. Even if you have things that enable them to have haste, you still can bear it. Like, I couldn't even give them haste. Not once in this video was I able to do it. I either didn't draw Rhythm of the Wild, or these things were just, you know, it was all just either too late or you didn't have them. And you can't mulligan, you know, too far, I feel like. Like, if you mulligan too far, you're either just never going to build up a board or anything. So, it's tough. I mean, this deck needs work. This could be great, I feel like. If you just gotta, there's just something's gotta give. And I don't know what it is. So if anybody has any suggestions, please let me know, because I would love to see this able to work. Some sort of Elder Gargaroth, Questing Beast, Terror of the Peaks, something, just so that it could work, because we got run over a bunch. We had a lot of games that were just not fun to play. Then again, we were playing a bunch of mass board, we played a bunch of matchups that creature-based decks are not favored against, which I'm wondering why, because I would think in the play, from what I know, in the play queue, they match you up with people who have similar decks to you. So I thought we would have a bunch of creature versus creature decks, something that would go on for a long time and be a lot of fun. And a lot of what we got was just mass board wipe or mass spot control, you know, like spot removal, and like one aggro game, which we were able to scrape by with by resolving an Elder Gargaroth and Terror of the Peaks and getting rid of their Obosh. So it's just brutal out there, man. I don't know. I don't know. And what I play on the ladder is basically Flash or Control. And as a Control mage, I mean, even I'm sick of it. I like playing Control, and it's tough. It's tough to just play Control all day. I almost like the meta better with the Ovens and the Cats and the Teferis and the fucking growth spirals. I almost liked it better. But we didn't play any of that stuff today. But basically what I'm saying is I'm already sick of what people are playing on the ladder because it just seems to be mono red and decks that say you can't play whatever you want to play. And at least before that, it was, you know, it was just ramp decks. You could play what you wanted to play. Eventually, they just overpowered you, which, I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling, but if you want to try something out like this, it's fun. Give it a shot. If you can get Rhythm of the Wild down and you can resolve some of these things, it's awesome. But odds that that happens is small, few and far between. That you actually have games where that happens. So, if anybody has any suggestions on how this could be done, how we can get these things hasted up so they create immediate value, that would be dope. But other than that, yeah, we'll catch you later.